The day I found my daughter in a ditch, barely breathing and terrified of being touched, something inside me went completely still. I did not scream, I did not cry, and I did not panic. I made a quiet promise to myself right then that whoever did this would not walk away from it. Some people fall apart when tragedy hits, but I have learned that there is a time for breaking, and there is a time for standing. That day, I chose to stand. My name is Eleanor Hayes, and I am 63 years old. I spent over 3 decades teaching high school English, shaping young minds, and raising my daughter Lily on my own after her father left when she was just a child. Lily has always been the center of my world, the one thing I got right in a life that was not always easy. She is kind, strong in a quiet way, and far more forgiving than I ever learned to be. That afternoon started like any other. I was in my backyard, gathering the last tomatoes of the season, when my phone rang. It was my neighbor, Margaret, and there was something off in her voice, something careful and controlled. She told me Lily's car was off the road on Miller Creek Drive, and that I needed to come immediately. I did not ask questions, I did not lock the door, I just drove. When I got there, my heart nearly stopped. Lily was slumped inside her car, the door hanging open as if someone had dragged her out and then abandoned the thought halfway through. Her face was swollen, her blouse torn, and she looked so small despite being 7 months pregnant. When I touched her cheek, she flinched hard, like she expected pain from me, and that moment broke something deep inside my chest. I told her it was me, that she was safe, and she barely managed to whisper that someone said she deserved it. At the hospital, the doctors confirmed what I already feared. She had broken ribs, a fractured cheekbone, and bruises that told a very clear story. Someone had hurt her and then left her there. The baby, by some grace, was still strong. I sat beside her bed, holding her hand, keeping my voice steady as I asked her to tell me everything. She took her time, gathering strength, and then she told me about the meeting that never should have happened. Lily had married into the Bennett family 2 years earlier. Her husband, Daniel Bennett, was a decent man, hardworking and kind in his own way. I never had an issue with him, but his older sister, Victoria Bennett, was another story entirely. From the first day I met her, I saw the way she looked at Lily, like she was measuring her worth and finding her lacking. Victoria had spent her entire life surrounded by family wealth and control, and she did not like outsiders stepping into that world. What I did not know until that hospital room was that Daniel's father had left a large piece of land to Daniel and Lily together. It was valuable, more than most people would ever see in their lifetime, and Victoria wanted it. She had called Lily, pretending Daniel needed her to sign some paperwork regarding the land. When Lily arrived, Daniel was not there. Instead, Victoria was waiting with 2 men Lily had never seen before. Victoria told her she did not belong, that she was an outsider who had married into money, and that the land should stay within the family. When Lily refused to sign anything, one of the men grabbed her. She fought back, but she was overpowered. She was thrown against a metal post, and after that, everything went dark. When she woke up, she was alone, injured, and without her phone. I stayed with her until she fell asleep. Then I walked outside and called my brother, Robert. He spent over 20 years in law enforcement, and he is the kind of man who does not waste words or energy. When he arrived that night, he listened to everything carefully, writing it all down, and then he simply said that we were going to handle this step by step. The first thing we did was make sure Lily filed an official report. It was not easy. The local authorities were hesitant, and it was clear that the Bennett name carried weight in that county. But Robert's presence changed the room. He did not say much, but he did not have to. The report was filed, and that was the beginning. Then we dug into the truth about the land. With the help of an attorney friend, we confirmed that the property legally belonged to both Daniel and Lily. Victoria had no claim to it at all. That meant everything she did was not just cruel, it was criminal. She had tried to force Lily into giving up something she never had a right to take. When Daniel came to the hospital and saw Lily's condition, I saw a man completely undone. He had no idea what his sister had done. Victoria had lied to him, sending him elsewhere while she set everything in motion. He was furious, heartbroken, and ready to stand beside Lily no matter what it took. Within days, a civil case was filed, and soon after criminal charges followed. The 2 men Victoria hired were found quickly, and one of them spoke. He admitted they were paid to pressure Lily into signing documents, and things escalated when she refused. That small crack in their story was all it took to bring everything down. Victoria was arrested not long after. When I got the call, I expected to feel something overwhelming, maybe even satisfaction. Instead, what I felt was quiet. It was like closing a door that had been letting cold air into my life for far too long. It was not joy, it was resolution. 3 weeks later, Lily went into labor earlier than expected. It was a long and exhausting day. But when her daughter was finally born, healthy and strong, it felt like the world had righted itself just a little. They named her Ruby, and when I held her for the first time, I realized that everything we had fought for had led to that moment. The trial lasted months, and I attended as many days as I could. Victoria's defense tried to twist the story, to make it seem like an accident, like she was not responsible. But the evidence told the truth. Messages, witness statements, and the undeniable facts of what happened painted a clear picture. The jury did not take long to decide. Victoria was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to prison. It was not as long as I would have liked, but it was enough to ensure she could not hurt anyone else for a while. And sometimes, that has to be enough. Now, when I look at Ruby, I do not see the pain that came before her. I see a future that was almost taken away and fought for with everything we had. Lily is healing, Daniel has stood by her side. And that land Victoria tried to steal remains exactly where it belongs. Sometimes people ask me how I stayed so strong through all of it. The truth is, I did fall apart many times. Just not when it mattered, not when my daughter needed me to stand. And if there is one thing I have learned, it is this. When someone tries to take everything from the people you love, you do not hesitate, you do not wait. You stand, you fight, and you make sure they never get the chance to do it again.